Hi there. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the new Chart Alerts feature in Phoenix AI. Essentially, what this feature allows you to do is to turn trend lines into alert lines so that when the price either crosses over or gets within a certain proximity of that line, you'll get an on-screen alert. But before we get into setting the alerts, I'll show you how to choose a sound file for the alert when it goes off. To do this, click on View, Alerts. Then, at the top of the window that comes up, click on Options, Settings. Then, under Sound Files at the bottom, tick the box next to Triggered Alert and then click on the ellipsis. As you can see in the box that comes up, there's several default sounds you can choose from. Let's choose Train and click OK. Alright, so now we have the alert sound set. We can set up some chart alerts. First, we'll open up a 5-minute intraday chart of the Australian dollar. Then we'll draw a couple of trend lines. Now that the lines are drawn, all we do to add an alert is to right-click on a line and from the menu that pops up, click on Set Alert. Then we can add a note to help us remember what the alert is when it's triggered. Let's call this one Upper. The other thing we can do is choose a proximity. What this means is that when the price gets to a specified proximity to your alert line, the alert will be triggered. I'm going to put in 0.0003, in other words, 3 pips. Although, if you don't want a proximity, just type 0. Then click OK. If I click on View, Chart Alerts, down the bottom of the screen you can see the alert we just created. Note that the status is currently set to active. But there is a circumstance when your alert may be classified as inactive and thus will never be triggered. That is, if you move a line so that one of your anchor points goes beyond the last candlestick of the chart. See how when I put my mouse over the line I've just drawn, these two boxes show up? Well, these are anchor points for the line. Anchor points allow you to realign the trend lines like this. Note that after I moved the anchor point, the values in the Chart Alerts tab at the bottom changed to match the new trajectory of the line. However, if I was to move the anchor point beyond the end of the chart, the alert attached to it becomes invalid and, as you can see down in your Chart Alerts bar, its status has been changed to inactive. This is because when one of the anchors falls beyond the end of the data, the slope and length of the line can no longer be accurately determined due to an undefined timestamp. Hence, it's inactive. Also note that when an anchor point has accidentally been dragged into no man's land, the solid line it's conducting will turn into a dashed line to highlight any possible inactive alerts. Okay, so now I'll place the trend line so that the alert will be triggered almost instantly. As you can see down here at the bottom, it's come up. Clicking OK will get rid of it and stop the sound. And, in the Chart Alerts bar, the alert has now disappeared. Well done! If you are following along in the actual program, you've just created your first chart alert. Now you may be wondering how to get a longer extension on your alert line so that the alert will stay active for longer. Well, that's easy. When you draw a line for the first time, just drag it further off the side of the chart, and as you can see, we now have a longer extension. If you want an infinite line for an alert, just use a half ray. Or we can turn any of our trend lines into half rays with the Extend Compress tool. See, this alert is now active for the next 2,000 odd candlesticks. If you've made an alert and you want to delete it, just right-click on the line and select Remove Alert. Or, If you've got a bunch of alerts listed in your chart alerts bar and you can't find the chart you drew them on, just right-click on the alert directly and select Delete Alert. Also, if the price goes past the end of a line attached to an alert, it will automatically disappear from the Chart Alerts tab at the bottom. See what happens when I compress this alert line so that it doesn't extend past the end of the chart. It's considered expired and is therefore removed, like so. Well, there's a rundown of the new chart alerts in Phoenix AI. Thanks for watching.